Hi, everybody, and welcome to this Avid webinar, Stop, Collaborate and Listen. Thanks a lot for taking the time to join us today. We're going to start off with some introduction, and then the purpose of this webinar really is to give you an overview of Avid's new solutions. We're going to talk a lot about the essential role of the rundown and the importance of that to Avid in our news solutions, which are, of course, used by some of the biggest broadcasters in the world. We're also going to talk a little bit about a story-centric approach and the way that that can be enabled in Avid's news solution, and also about remote and distributed working with some really cool new tools that we have that we think are really going to help enable that. The key part of the webinar today will be a live demonstration where we're going to show you some of these tools that we can use. And we're also going to have a question and answer session after the live demo. And we want this to be as interactive as possible. So if you are joining us, we'll show you in a second the way that you can actually submit questions to us. So joining me today, my name is Craig Wilson. I'm the product evangelist for Media and Cloud here at Avid. Joining me today are my colleagues Regis Andre. Regis is our Senior Director of Product Management. And then we have our solution specialist, Claudia Roth, and Imran Ramzan, and they're the ones who are going to be taking you through the demo itself. So as I mentioned, we would really like to hear your feedback and your questions in the course of the webinar today. I think a lot of us have been on Zoom webinars or other webinar formats over the course of the last few years. So this, I'm sure, is very familiar to you. But if you do want to ask any questions and you are joining on the Zoom session, then please feel free to type your questions in using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you are joining live on one of the Avid social channels, and if you are, thanks a lot for joining us, then also you can submit your questions there. We'll be monitoring those channels and we'll do our best to answer those questions live in the course of the webinar itself, which will probably run for the next half an hour, 45 minutes or so, something like that. And as I said, thank you so much for joining us. So let's begin by maybe taking a little bit of a look at an overview of Avid's new solutions. And to do that, I am going to hand across to Regis, who will walk you through this. So Regis, over to you.
Hey, thank you very much, Craig. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight or today, depending where you are around the world for this webinar. We're going to talk about the Avid Newsroom Management Solution, which does include, of course, iNews and MediaCentral. As you know, those are key to many of our customers' newsroom workflow. Those are central piece of software that cannot go down and need to be available 24/7 in a reliable and efficient manner. Newsroom workflows are a major area of development for Avid, as you know. And lately, we have been focusing on several key aspects of it, such as cloud deployment, scalability, and security. Over the recent months, we also have been extending iNews capabilities into MediaCentral Cloud UX to offer users the ability to move to a web user interface, making it easier to access rundown, wires, and stories. We are also continuing to streamline workflows and how stories can be built and manage different distribution channels beyond broadcast, like social media, with our MediaCentral publisher workflows. But this is not all. We are also doubling down on MediaCentral Collaborate, which is really taking iNews workflows into the next generation of story-centric tools and workflow. You can think of Collaborate as an extension of iNews, enabling better storytelling on web and mobile devices, and managing assignment resources in an all-in-one integrated solution. MediaCentral Collaborate is a solution that is deeply integrated with the entire Avid ecosystem, and you will see that in the demonstration shortly. It enables unprecedented ways for users to have access to their assignment, see what they have to do, collect data and media into the story. As you will see in the demo coming up, access to the newsroom information, writing notes, scripts, accessing all your media, editing content, monitoring the progress of the different tasks, and enabling multi-distribution is all centralized in Collaborate. With the use of very modern technologies such as mobile development or web applications, it really does help users to stay connected at all the time and stay up to date and participate in the workflow wherever they are and whatever platform they are using. So we're going to take a look at it in action. And for that, we're going to benefit from Claudia and Imran's help. Guys, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
So as is already introduced, we're going to do a live demonstration and show you what MediaCentral Cloud UX with its Collaborate app can do. Just a quick note ahead, I'm basically based in Munich in Germany. Imran is based in London in the UK, and Craig, who will also join us later in the demo, is based in Aberdeen in Scotland. And we're all working collaboratively on the same system. As you can see, MediaCentral Cloud UX has a new app, which is called Collaborate. And this one is a tool to start planning and managing and tracking your project's status. You can use it for your daily news show, for a reoccurring show. You can use it for a one-time event, or even like something like the World Soccer Championships that are coming up. To do this, as you can see here on the left-hand side, you can basically just set up a topic. A topic can be anything which is the name of your show, your event, or anything like that. Inside each topic, you can have additional assignments. And as you can see on the color coding here, each of these color coding is a certain status that you can actually also track and monitor with a one view and see where your whole project is. Inside each of these assignments, which can be like a subtopic or a sub part of your whole show, you can actually then also assign tasks. Next to the list view, we also offer a very nice calendar view. So here in the one view, I can basically see everything that's currently ongoing, and with the color coding status, I can actually see where these current projects are. To get the view and easy filtering for only the stuff that's actually relevant for myself, I can just filter according to my stuff. And this one will only give me the task that I'm currently assigned to and that I have to work on. So let's have a look how this one looks inside. Here we can basically see two things. So the coastal erosion is an assignment that was assigned to me or to my team to work on. On the right-hand side here, we can see the tasks that we have to do. So we have to do a 10 p.m. show package, something for our social media posts, and so on. In the middle here, you see all related media files. Those can be pictures, sequences, clips, and they can even be production notes and links to our newsroom story. All of that you can basically collide in one of these containers, which makes it very easy for the users to find the related media and also to track and see what's going on. So let's just create a new assignment and assign some tasks for my colleague Imran. For this, we're going back to our calendar view. And on today, I can just easily click here and just create a new subtopic for my current show. With this one, I will just do a story about a volcano. We can give a due date, and then we can actually assign it to either my whole team or to dedicated team members. In my case, I will just push that to the whole team. If I save this one, you will see there are two things happening. First of all, I will get a notification. That notification is available inside the MediaCentral Cloud UX interface, and it's also available inside on the mobile application. We will have a look at this later. If I now go inside my volcano job, you can see this is the empty container. So here I can later on link all related content, the news story, and even production notes. So let's just create some tasks. So the first thing I want Imran to do is basically prepare a story for our 10 p.m. show. I will give him the due date, which is currently today, and I will basically just assign him inside my team. The next thing we can do is I want him also to prepare, record some of the local content that's coming on site from the volcano. Here I can do the same thing. I can basically also assign members or even additional members that are not in the team. In this case, I want Imran to do that as well. So he will have a lot to do. And of course, on the last thing, I also want him to prepare something for social media. So something like a small teaser or trailer that we can basically get on air before the 10 p.m. evening show. With this one, I also want to track it, so I will also assign it to myself. And here we go. And that's how we created the 4 tasks for Imran. On the color coding itself, like I mentioned already before, here I can see these are new. And now I can basically hand over to Imran and get him working on these tasks.
Thank you, Claudia. So Claudia is handing over from Munich to London. I'm sitting in London, and I'm just going to share my system. So I'm on MediaCentral Cloud UX. I'm in the Collaborate application. You can see that I can see all the topics and assignments, but in the top right of the screen, I have got this notification area. So it's telling me that I've got a range of tasks that are assigned to me, and I can use this to jump straight into the assignment area. So this is where Claudia was working a little while ago. And I can see now that on the right side of the screen, there are some tasks. Now I'm logged in as myself and my username is highlighted here. So I can see that these 3 tasks are assigned to me. So I can see I've got to edit a story for the 10 p.m. show, and I've got to record a feed as well. So that record live feed, let me just open that up. And I can see, right, record live feed, and she's given me some information, volcano reporters on site. So I just need to get this going. I've got a status here. It says new, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to in progress. So I'm just going to start this and I'm going to change that to in progress. And what I need to do now is I need to load up an application to record a live feed. So I'm just going to dot the Collaborate to the left. It's just part there. And I'm going to show the new Avid product called MediaCentral Acquire. So I'm just going to click on this icon to load it up. MediaCentral Acquire, it's a new application that controls ingest from IP-based systems or baseband-based systems. So that could be fast surf ingest. But what we've got today is we're actually connected to MediaCentral Stream. So MediaCentral Stream is a range of Avid products that control IP-based ingest and playout. And I've got 4 channels of ingest in the system. So there's a schedule on the right. I've got my channels here. This little icon here, if I click that, it should give me live feed. my hand was in my mouth there for a second. I couldn't say anything, but there we are. So I can see all 4 of my feeds are coming in. And it looks like this channel 3, that looks like they're riding around in some volcanic ash. So that's the feed that I need to start recording. So what I could do is, let me just close that in the preview. I could just park on the channel and I could do a crash record. But what I'll do is I'll create a new recording. So here to my right, I've got my scheduler. There's the current time. This is the time based, obviously, on our system in Europe. So it may not match up to your time, but this is scrolling along. What I can do is I can park in a little area to select a recording block, and I can start a recording. So the recording dialog box window opens, and typically the first thing I want to do is give this recording a name. So I'll just call it volcano feed. In comments, I know that this is probably Iceland, so I'll put that in there as well. So what I could do, I could schedule this, I could give it a start time, an end time, and so forth. But what I typically want to do is record right now. Duration is currently set to 1 minute, but I'll make it slightly longer. I'll select it as 2 minutes, and I can just hit the record now. And then what I'll do is when I hit the record button, what happens is that block that I highlighted turns yellow. The yellow means that it's queuing the channel and it's actually starting to record. And then the red means that it's actually started to record. So you can see volcano feed there. It's giving me the start time. It's giving me the channel information. What I can do is I can select that channel and I could have a look at some information. So if I pull up this general information, you can see that the recording has started. It's about 15% in. You can see there's the name, volcano, the start and end date. It's got the duration. It's got a repeat here and it says never. That's because I could schedule a recording. I could have a recording that's scheduled. I could have it repeat daily, weekly, but I just did an instant record. And just below that area, I've also got templates. So MediaCentral Acquire can work with templates, and my template here is giving me channel 3. It's coming in as this format. It's going into Avid shared storage, so Avid Nexus shared storage, and it's the clip information is checking into MediaCentral Production Management as well. So with that information, another thing that an Ingest operator typically wants to do is they want to review their feed. So what I can do is single click will allow me to load up the information, but a double click will allow me to load up that clip. And you see that the clip is here. Now, quick Avid tip, if I'm looking in a viewer and it's green, typically I'm looking at a source. So think of it as a feed or camera rushes. So green color there, and this green color at the bottom is showing me a growing clip. And what I mean by that is if I click in this area, you can see there's actually a capture in progress. It's still filling up. So I've got that and I can preview that and I can see that feed coming in. So essentially for now, my ingest task is done. So what I will do is I know that it's going somewhere, it's going into the production management system and someone could find the clip, but wouldn't it be easy if I could just take that and drop it into Collaborate? And that's what I'm doing now. I'm taking that live feed, I'm just dropping it into the container, and then everyone working Collaborate can just go to the assignment and anything that they need is there. So essentially, I'm done with Collaborate for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up, I'm done with Acquire now, and I'm just going to close it down and undock Collaborate. So I've done my first task, live feed. It was in progress. Let me open that up. And this time, I'm just going to mark that as complete. And that is my first task done. Now, the second task I have is story for 10 p.m. shows. Let me open that up. Is there any additional info? No, but I know that I just have to create this volcano story in the 10 p.m. show. So once again, I will mark that as in progress. This time, I will dock Collaborate, and I'm going to go into the MediaCentral newsroom system via the rundown application. Just going to click that application. And what I'm actually showing you here now is the rundown for the 10 p.m. show. So this is a list of all of the items that are going to be in the show. And to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a storyline. So I'm just highlighted this area, and I'm just going to create a story, and I'll just give it a name. So this is going to be active. Whoa. There could be an automatic system to generate an ID, but what I'll do is I'll just create an ID for now. So this is me looking at my rundown, looking at my queue, but what I can do is with that line highlighted, I can click this button, and now what I'm seeing is my story view. I've got additional information linked to this line, but in this area here, I can start to write my script. Now I'm writing my script, but I know this feed is coming in, so wouldn't it be useful for me to take that footage and make an associated video asset? And I can do that because in the newsroom system on this line, I have the capability to create a sequence. So you see this, it says create sequence, and I'm going to click that button and hit the create button. And what I've actually done now is created a video asset, a timeline that's linked to that newsroom item and linked to that ID. Now, quick tip. With Avid, if you're looking at a viewer and it's blue, it's because I'm looking at an output, and it's black at the moment because I've created a timeline. You can't see it, but I'm going to enable it now. There's my timeline, active volcano, the same name as here, but it's blank because I haven't actually dropped in any shots. If I switch my viewer, I can go back to my source. Green is my source. There's my volcano footage. And what I can do is I can take a portion of that and I can start to video edit. So I can just go and I can drop that into my sequence. Now I've got my first clip, but it's probably, I need a few more shots, and I know that someone's prepared some shots for me. I'm in the rundown application at the moment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the browse application, and now I'm in the MediaCentral production management system, and I can see that there's a bunch of additional volcano shots in here as well. So I can quickly kind of review these. That's an interesting shot with the car. So maybe I'll load that up, and I can scrub through, and there's the vehicle. I quite like that shot. So there he is. So this time I can use my keyboard shortcut. So I'm just going to rewind quickly. Yep, that's nice. Marking in. Let me quickly forward through the footage. That looks nice. Marking out, and this time I can use a keyboard shortcut and I can drop that shot in. And let's have a look through there, and let's have a look through here. Oh, that's good. There's a big crater there, so I quite like that footage as well. There it is. That's a big crater, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to drop that in as well. So essentially, what I've done is drop those shots. Now I'm in the browse application, but I can switch back to my rundown application. You see, there's my story, and what I can do is I can continue to write my script. And it is an editing system, so I could trim, I could swap shots around, and essentially I'm working in both those systems simultaneously in a web browser on the MediaCentral platform. What I'm going to do now is I need to save that work, so I can click inside of my story and I can use the keyboard shortcut, just do a Control S. And what that does is not only does it save the script, it saves the sequence as well. So in this instance, I've saved my work. What I'm going to do is it'll be useful I don't want Claudia to go and look through the rundown and look for my edit. It'd be useful to drop all of that stuff in Collaborate as well. So what I'm going to do is just let's hide that story for now. There's my storyline. That little icon means that I have got an associated video sequence. I'm just going to take that and drop it into Collaborate. And what I've done is I've taken that newsroom script and dropped it into the container. It would also be useful for Claudia to have the sequence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that and I'm going to drop that in there as well. So I finished my task. I've dropped in the related assets for the task. I don't need my viewer and my timeline anymore. So what I'll do is I'll just hide this for now. And I'm done with the rundown application, that newsroom rundown as well. So what I can do is I can go back to where I began, which is inside MediaCentral Collaborate. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to mark this for review, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to mark it for review. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially add Claudia, and she'll now get a notification on her system, and she'll know there's a task, and she'll see that it's for review, and I can add the information, script, and edit in container. And yeah, there you go. I've used Collaborate. I've done my 2 tasks, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw back to Claudia now.
Perfect. Thank you, Imran. So, and now to show you how this one looks on my side of the MediaCentral Cloud UX system. So as Imran mentioned, of course, I got the notification as well, which means I have a new task. I got that on my mobile phone and also inside MediaCentral Cloud UX. Also, when I'm back in the calendar view here, you can see the volcano topic is created. So I can actually just click on this one and it automatically gets me to the volcano assignment. I can see the sequence, the news story, as well as the ingest feed that was created. So let's have a look at the story for 10 p.m., which is marked as for review for me. So in this case, I can just easily double click the story itself. You see the rundown app automatically opens up and it directly guides me to the active volcano story that Imran created. In here, of course, I can see and read and check if everything is correctly. Let's say in this case, I'm perfectly fine what he prepared. Of course, I can always go inside and make changes to it. So I have the same capabilities in the system itself. So for the story and script itself, of course, I can just go easily in here and open up this task and change it to approved. As Imran mentioned already, as we also want to do something for social media and teaser trailer, of course, there's also a sequence assigned to this one. I can also bring up that sequence in my system. I can even show you the timeline itself. And of course, I can also review and play back this one. But the sequence is actually supposed to be checked by our supervisor. So in this case, I can forward that social teaser sequence for review to Craig with a little note. To check the volcano sequence. And Craig is basically also at home with his mobile phone and has the MediaCentral Cloud UX Collaborate app installed there. And I'm handing over to Craig to give you a quick overview how the Collaborate app looks on the mobile.
Great. Yes, thanks a lot, Claudia. I'll just share my screen. So what you can see here, as Claudia mentioned, is the MediaCentral Collaborate app. So this is on my phone. I've got it on my mobile phone here. I'm just using some software to reflect that onto the screen. And so what you can see here is, I can see all of the topics. I can filter to only see my own stuff. It only shows the things that I'm interested in. And if I go into that, TV and radio topic that we have, here are all the assignments. There is the volcano assignment. And inside this, I can then see the various tasks, and you can see the social teaser one is the one where my name has that little blue circle around it. So I know that this is for me. And also when Claudia actually added me to this, I got a notification on my mobile phone as well. So you can also get notifications here. So I can, of course, go into the assignment and I can see that this is marked for review. But more than that, if I go into the media tab here, you see I can actually see the container. So the container where, Imran dropped in the live feed, he's also dropped in the sequence that he's edited. I'm also able to access that from here. And even more than that, if I actually go in, I can actually go in and I can take a look, at the actual sequence itself. So if I play the sequence, the sequence will obviously play for me here, and I'll be able to scrub through it to review it. I can also, if I want to, I can turn it landscape, and I can review it here on my mobile phone as well. So, as we mentioned earlier on, Imran's down in London, I'm in Scotland, Claudia is over in Germany, but we're all able to work and to share content between us in order to be able to do all of this together. So, I could be, as Claudia mentioned, the supervisor, the person who wants to review this before something goes live. And I don't need to be in the office to do this. This is something I can do when I'm away. So basically, I can go into the Volcano social teaser task and say, okay, I'm happy with this. This is now approved. And this, of course, could then move on to the next stage of the workflow to take this content and potentially to post it to social media, for example. And of course, we can do that directly in MediaCentral Cloud UX itself using MediaCentral Publisher. We've done webinars on that before. There's videos on that as well, if you want to check them out on the various Avid social channels. So, this is a way where using MediaCentral Cloud UX, using the mobile application, keeping people in contact, enabling them to work together remotely, even if they're not all together in the same location, is pretty simple and easy to do by using MediaCentral Collaborate to really begin to bring all of these different aspects of the workflow together. And bear in mind, everything we're doing is either done in a web browser with MediaCentral Cloud UX or has been done here on a mobile phone. So thanks a lot to Claudia and Imran for that. What we're now going to move on to is we're going to move on to a little bit of a question and answer session. So I will stop sharing my screen just now, and the other guys hopefully will all come back on screen. So first of all, Claudia and Imran, thanks again for that. Regis, I wonder if we maybe ask you a question to start with. So sure. We looked there at using MediaCentral Collaborate to coordinate a kind of newsroom operation. How important is it, from what customers are saying to us, to enable that kind of efficiency in the workflow if a team's working on social media or is working on the on-air show as well? I guess that's kind of crucial as to why we're developing Collaborate.
Of course, yes. This is really around the different story-centric style of workflows, right? Where you want to be able to work outside of the boundaries of the rundown of the story. So Collaborate really enables that by what you've seen in the demonstration, right? You're working within a topic, which could be something like the war, the World Cup or something. And then you can create all your content in this topic with your different assignments, the container where all your media, your note and your scripts, everything is collated together basically at the story at this level. And then the publication point can then be derived from it. So from there, you will be able to assign outputs to your different tasks. And okay, I've been working on a rundown, so I'll be linking that sequence to that rundown, or I'll be linking that to a media social publication point. So it makes it very easy to just work on the content first, build up the story, and then eventually decide where you want to publish this and make different versions if you want to go to different outlets.
Yeah. And Claudia, I wonder if I can ask you a question. So we've looked at MediaCentral Collaborate inside of MediaCentral Cloud UX. We also looked at it on mobile, but it's available more widely than that. It's also in other applications too.
That's absolutely true. So the MediaCentral Cloud UX app, as part of the editing applications, is available as a plugin for the Adobe Creative Suite, as well as, of course, for Avid Media Composer as well. So this means whenever I prepare the content for the editors, like the media container that we've seen, I can easily just open up the Collaborate app in the MediaCentral Cloud UX plugin on my craft editor and just drag and drop the sequences, the media files directly into my editing application, and then do the final craft editing and the final versioning as well.
And I think one of the other things to mention as well, because it's available in like so Photoshop and After Effects as well, it also means that the graphic team can get involved. So, you know, it's broadening the way that teams can work together because they get access to all the content too.
That's correct. So the app's available, as you mentioned, for Premiere Pro, for After Effects, for Photoshop, for Media Composer. So quite a range of tools that collaborate here as well. And it will also allow me to see my tasks, get notifications, and also change the status. So I do not have to change the application there.
Yeah. So Imran, when you've been, you know, talking to customers and discussing with them about MediaCentral Collaborate, I'm guessing most of them are looking at trying to work in a story-centric way where they're distributing content to multiple different destinations.
Yeah, that's correct. So as Regis was explaining, Collaborate is an ideal product for story-centric workflows. As we're moving away from, let's say, rundown centric and we need to become more agile, we've got lots of publishing happening on digital and so forth as well. It's good to have that newsroom system with the rundown, but the story is key. So in this example, the topic could be the war or the US midterms, and you want to be able to follow everything that's happening and being able to go to a container, see the tasks, see all of the elements, the packages, the sources, and all that kind of stuff. That's really important. But it's not just for newsroom story-centric workflows. I come from a facilities background, working on features, that kind of stuff. So you could see Collaborate being really important for kind of episodic content. So maybe the topic is Series 5, Episode 1 of The Crown, and then you need to follow where are the dailies, what's happening with the edit, we need to approve the grade. You could imagine using Collaborate for something like that. And then taking it one step further, maybe you've got a lot of footage, reality shows, you've got dozens and dozens of hours of clips coming in, that's hundreds of hours a week, thousands of hours across a series, being able to, you know, cover all of that, look at all the sync pools, find all the information. You need to be able to follow what's coming in, what's going out, what are the tasks. And so you can imagine Collaborate working for a story-centric, working for something like features and episodic content, but you could also see it working for reality television as well.
Yeah, and Regis, is that really why Collaborate is kind of designed in the way it is? It can actually suit a multitude of different workflows.
Yes, as you know, MediaCentral is not used just in news. Of course, it's used a lot in sports and more into post-production and studio production as well. And it was very important for us as we build this tool to make it flexible enough or open enough, if you want, to be able to work in different type of production. The need to be able to assign tasks, resources, and track progress, and be able to communicate and collaborate and see what's happening and review media all the time is definitely needed, just not in news, right? So we definitely see a lot of interest for Collaborate, and we see a lot of customers coming up with great ideas about how to leverage Collaborate in news, of course, but also outside of news. And we've seen people wanted to use it for instance, promo department, where because of the mobile app, it's so easy to review a promo or a trailer on the iOS app and be able to just review and approve it, for instance.
Regis, one other aspect that we showed in the course of the demo, and something that we showed for the first time at the IBC show a couple of months back, is MediaCentral Acquire, where we now have a web-based scheduler and app as part of MediaCentral Cloud UX. So, wonder if you talk a little bit about that, and again, you know, some of the workflows that's going to support, because again, it's about flexibility, remote workflows, things like that. Yeah,
you said it all. I mean. Having a tool to schedule recordings, of course, is not something new. It's something Avid has had in this portfolio for a very long time. But by adding those capabilities now as a web application inside of MediaCentral Cloud UX, you're gaining a lot of advantages. Of course, the first one is it's a web app, so you don't need to install anything. You just need to have access to your system, launch a Chrome web browser, log into MediaCentral, maybe using a multi-factor authentication and things like this. And boom, you get access to your scheduling app. You see the proxies coming in, just like Imran showed, and you start recording things. But because it's inside MediaCentral, and MediaCentral is also your production system, that's where you're going to start browsing and logging as well. So one of the great features that I really like to demonstrate is starting a record with Acquire, and then double click on that record within MediaCentral. The clip loads and you can start logging right away. You don't have to go and find and search it. Again, it's all about skipping steps. So you get to do your job more easily and faster, especially for repetitive tasks. Same thing, you can start editing right there from the recording grid. You can start editing in a timeline right away. So it really makes the whole workflow much more tight. and makes things also easier to for collaboration, because you can also be in a recording, just drag and drop this into a container for an assignment and the connection is made. So it's very simple, no need to search and browse folders or hierarchy and things like this.
Yeah, and Claudia, I wonder if I can ask you a quick question. So in the demonstration there, we looked at, MediaCentral Acquire controlling MediaCentral Stream. MediaCentral Acquire will also be able to control FastServe Ingest and FastServe IO for Studio over IP and more traditional SDI ingest. But in terms of streaming ingest, is that something that we're seeing a kind of expansion and growth of ingest and playout workflows?
Absolutely, yeah. So especially in combination with MediaCentral Stream, we're offering a more, let's say, a tool for web-based streaming to capture those feeds into our production system, as well as also for playout. So if you have journalists in the field and you want to send latest content directly into the production system, you can just link up an SRT or RTMP stream, capture it on the system in your house codec, do the editing, and then also send it out directly to the MediaCentral Stream server to push it out as a web-compatible SRT or RTMP stream in different qualities and resolutions. And and all of that can also be controlled from a web interface. So it's very easy to set up, and it's a software-only application that in our case actually runs in the cloud, but of course it's also supported on VMware-based system or even on hardware.
Yeah, it's probably worth mentioning that the system we were using tonight for the demo is actually running in the cloud, and that's obviously what's enabling us. But of course, we support on-premise deployments as well. And Regis, maybe that's the kind of direction that we want to talk a little bit about customers looking at cloud deployments, looking at hybrid deployments, and how they might want to deploy things in the future. And we're obviously working very hard on that.
Yes, of course, it's very important to be future-proof in what we are developing, right? And we've seen the journey going from bare metal to virtual infrastructure. And of course, now people are looking at more and more with the cloud. And again, what we're working on, for instance, to acquire MediaCentral Stream, one great example of different workflows that we are enabling now is those hybrid type of workflows where you may decide that a portion of your infrastructure is going to still be on-prem, like, for instance, your SDI ingest video server, but you want your production system to be in the cloud. We've acquired MediaCentral. You could still record on a video server on-prem, and then we'll take care of all the transfers from your on-prem system to the cloud solution, and vice versa. We could exactly do the opposite, where the production system is on-prem, but being able to manage ingest from cloud MediaCentral Stream, for instance, for RTMP, or do send to playback to a video server that's even in different locale or different region around the world. So as we're developing all those tools in MediaCentral, one thing, of course, is port everything to the cloud, but also really how are we going to enable better and easier and very secure connectivity so we can transfer and move media and metadata around very efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't have any more open questions at this point, so I think we'll begin to wrap things up. Let me just go off and share my screen again, and then we can finish things off. So really, what have we looked at, in the course of today? We've been talking all about, Avid's newsroom solutions. It very much is about, continuing on our very strong heritage of rundown-based workflows, broadcast workflows. Obviously Avid very, very strong in that area and continuing to be so. But it is also about delivering new collaborative workflows as well, enabling teams to work together really regardless of where they are. We've shown you MediaCentral Acquire, which is coming very, very soon. It will be in a release coming out very soon as well. And of course, we can publish to social media. We didn't look at it directly here, but we have done before in terms of publishing to any social media sites or publishing to an online CMS. And it's also very important to us that, we can deliver an open, end-to-end solution, which can create news really for any platform. So a couple of final things just to mention is that we do actually have another webinar coming up in a few weeks' time, where we're actually going to take a deep look at Avid's Maestro graphics and its new offering based around software only and subscription. And that's going to be happening on December the 6th at the times that you can see on the screen. So please, in the next few days, the registration for that will open up. If you have registered for this webinar, you'll get notified of that one information as well. So please keep an eye on your email and obviously the Avid social channels for information about that, and then find out all of the new things about Maestro that we can share with you. If you want to find out more information about anything that we've talked about today, then please feel free to go to the Avid website. If you just go to avid.com/news, that will get you to the news solutions area of the Avid website. And from there, you can find out lots more information about MediaCentral Cloud UX, about MediaCentral Collaborate, and the great workflows that are enabled all the way from Ingest all the way to playout. But for now, from myself, Regis, Imran, and Claudia, thank you very much to them. Thanks a lot to you for joining us, and please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.